From the Universal Tarot. 20. Judgment. The Judgment card draws its symbolism from biblical imagery, specifically the calling forth of the dead to be judged by God. The card is sometimes called the Last Judgment. The summoning angel's trumpet bears the Crusader's cross, symbolizing the high standards and expectations to which the judge will be held. Below the cloud that carries the angel, coffins are rising from the earth, churning the soil until it resembles a freshly plowed field. Metaphorically, the dead are like the rising grain, which is cut down and then sown again. The man and woman in the foreground could be the same couple we saw in the Lovers and the Devil cards, and the child with his outstretched arms could be the Sun Child. Though this scene could be terrifying, the dead are ready and welcome the judgment. This is where they must look at the choices they made in life, learn from them, and be cleansed of all guilt or sadness. From that place of reborn innocence, they can begin anew. Universal message. A time of spiritual awakening has arrived. Forgive yourself and others wholeheartedly and with compassion. Leave your baggage behind. From the Initiatory Tarot of the Golden Dawn. Judgment. The 20th Key. The 31st Path. The magical title of this card is The Spirit of the Primal Fire. The Path of Judgment links Hod to Malkuth. It is the splendor of the material world, Mercury acting through fire upon the cosmic elements. This is the first path undertaken by the student aspiring up the tree which is off the middle pillar. It is quite a jolt to be the initiate as he or she travels this path, which can best be described as a baptism into the element of fire. It is also the card that best represents the act of initiation. On this path, one first becomes aware of the divine forces watching over and infusing needed spiritual energy into the personality. Shin, the Hebrew letter associated with this path, means tooth, suggesting the breaking down and consuming of food, energy. Shin is attributed the element of fire, but also to the fifth element of spirit. Thus, the experience of the 31st path is that of the spiritual energy descending into physical matter. The divine spirit Shin plunges from Hod by way of Bina and the black pillar and infuses the student with the fiery Shin. The ingesting of this fiery energy awakens the student for the first time to the divine presence. The judgment here shown is undertaken by the personality of the initiate as he or she becomes more aware of a greater reality which equilibrates her own imbalances. The Shin of judgment is a consecrating fire which perpetually burns away the gross, leaving only the balanced and the pure. Interpretation in a tarot reading. Final decision. Judgment. Sentence. Determination of a matter without appeal on its plane. From the Science Tarot. Natural Selection. 20. Judgment. Early in the 18th century, the peppered moth of England was almost always white in color. The light-colored bark of local trees allowed the white moths to rest unnoticed, while the rare dark moths were easily seen and eaten by birds. The white moths were naturally selected to survive. With the Industrial Revolution, however, the trees were stained gray from the soot produced by nearby factories. In this changed environment, the dark moths were safely hidden on the polluted tree bark, while birds ate the white moths. Natural selection set to work again, but this time the dark moths thrived. Judgment has a set of rules by which some will thrive while others will fail. Some characteristics that offered protection in the past may create weakness in the present, and those that had been a burden may now prove essential to survival. As elements in your life transform, consider which legacy parts of yourself and your lifestyle are useful, and which are better left in the past. From the Tarot of Shadows, Arcana 22, Last Judgment. The Last Judgment shall ultimately define the afterlife fate of those trespassers and righteous. The notion of the ultimate judgment has existed in various ancient religions. For example, the ancient Egyptians believed in the Osiris trial. In the New Testament, the Judgment Day is vividly described. And he will send out the angels to gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. They will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace, where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Athenagoras, a prominent Christian scholar of the 2nd century, wrote, "For many, in discussing the subject of the resurrection, having reasoned that the cause of the resurrection is the judgment. But the fallacy of this is clearly shown from the fact that, although all human beings who die rise again, yet not all who rise again are to be judged. For if only a just judgment were the cause of the resurrection, it would, of course, follow that those who had done neither evil nor good, namely very young children, would not rise again. But seeing that all are to rise again, those who have died in infancy as well as others, they too justify our conclusion that the resurrection takes place not for the sake of the judgment as the primary reason, but in consequence of the purpose of God in forming men, and the nature of the beings so formed." Card meaning: as you sow, so shall you reap. The need for self-reflection. Unearthing secrets. A trial. Punishment. Judging or being judged. The end of a period. Being found wanting. A difficult decision. Ignoring a call for action. From the Osho Zen Tarot, 20 Beyond Illusion. The butterfly in this card represents the outer, that which is constantly moving, and that which is not real but an illusion. Behind the butterfly is the face of consciousness, looking inward to that which is eternal. The space between the two eyes has opened, revealing the lotus of spiritual unfoldment and the rising sun of awareness. Through the rising of the inner sun, meditation is born. The card reminds us not to look outside for what is real, but to look within. When we focus on externals, we too often get caught up in judgments. This is good, this is bad. I want this, I don't want that. These judgments keep us trapped in our illusions, our sleepiness, our old habits and patterns. Drop your opinionated mind and move inside. There you can relax into your own deepest truth, where the difference between dreams and reality is already known. This is the only distinction between the dream and the real. Reality allows you to doubt, and the dream does not allow you to doubt. To me, the capacity to doubt is one of the greatest blessings to humanity. The religions have been enemies because they have been cutting the very roots of doubt, and there is a reason why they have been doing that. Because they want people to believe in certain illusions that they have been preaching. Why have the people like Gautam Buddha been so insistent that the whole existence, except your witnessing self, except your awareness, is just ephemeral, made of the same stuff as dreams are made of? They are not saying that these trees are not there. They are not saying that these pillars are not there. Don't misunderstand because of the word illusion. It has been translated as illusion, but illusion is not the right word. Illusion does not exist. Reality exists. Maya is just in between. It almost exists. As far as day-to-day activities are concerned, it can be taken as reality. Only in the ultimate sense, from the peak of your illumination, it becomes unreal, illusory.